Hello friends, welcome back to the session. So in these sessions, we will discuss about the table maintenance generator. If I split this word, table maintenance generator, the maintenance is nothing but what? Creating, either deleting or updating. So what we are doing? So either we are creating or updating or deleting the table entries. So the name itself specifies as table maintenance generator. So we are generating one screen to, in an easy way, we can maintain the entries or we can maintain it. So maintain in the sense of it is a part of create, change and deleting the entries from a table. Usually, whenever we received any requirement from the business owner or the end user, like suppose we wanted to create a custom table or Z table. As we know, SAP is a standard application. SAP has provided many standard applications to process the business data. Once we process the data through those business application, the data will be updated in standard table. Even SAP has provided many standard database table as well. But most of the time, I can say 99.99% of time, the data will be processed through applications. It's very rare we maintain the data directly through at the table level. So it is not possible, or it is not recommendable to maintain any entries at the database table directly. I'm talking about standard table. But of course, when we received any requirement for the custom table, so it is a 50-50 chance. So it's up to depends upon the business or the end user, like how they wanted to maintain the entries in a newly created custom table or newly created Z table, I can say. Sometimes through program also they can maintain the entries in a table. Sometimes using some upload or the interface technique also they can upload the data into the system. Sometimes manually also they want to explicitly they want to process the data into the database table. So how to create the table? So to create the Z table or the customer table, the transaction code is SE11. So in our previous session, we have also discussed about the database table. We have created our custom table also by using SE11. And once after creating the table, of course, it's a job of abapper to create the table. But once after creating the table, it's a job of end user to maintain the entries in a table. So whenever we create, for example, if I go with any table which I have created in my previous session, so if I go with SE11, so this is my one of the table, let's assume. So to create the new table, we go with the create option. To do the changes in existing table, we can go with the change. It means if you want to add any new field in a table, or if you want to delete any field from the table, if you want to change any data type domain, if you want to do any changes to the existing object, then we can go with the change option. And this is something like preview in read mode, I can say. So of course, I wanted to maintain the entries in a table. So usually whenever we create the table in SE11, if you want to maintain the entries in a table, the steps which has provided by the SAP is go with the change option. Then we go with the utilities, table content, and the create entries. So we use the option called create entries to maintain the entries in a table. Can you see the screen? So in that, we are going to provide the student ID, like whatever the set of fields you do have in a table, that complete list of fields from your table. So somewhat student number, the name I can say, then city I can say, the class section, section A, then I'm providing IA, like I have created this table for the student maintenance of internal assessment. You know, in your academy year, you have done with your assessments. So mostly there will be three assessment and they are going to calculate the average. So by keeping that activity in mind, I have created one of the table. So average something like 21, 22 and 23. And then you need to calculate the average yourself. So average is something like 22 I can say. And here the created date, created created by, suppose my user ID is something like 92 user 15. This is my user ID. So username should be populated over here. Created on the date on which the record has been created and the time on which the record has been created. Some set of information. And finally, if I click on save option, the data will be stored in respective table. So you'll get the message that database record created successfully. Now, if you go back, if you want to see the result, you can go with utilities, table content and display option, Otherwise, you can use this table content options to see this output. If I click on this table content, click on execute. So this is the data which has been stored in a table. But like it was a lengthy way to maintaining the entries in a table. Go with SC11, click on change option, go to utilities, table content, create entries, then maintain the information one by one. User is thinking it's a very lengthy job. I need some shortest way. This is first observation. Second thing is what, like I'm coming to the point why we supposed to have the table maintenance generator for every custom table. So the first reason is what? It's a very lengthy job. Going with the S11, open the table in change mode and go with the utilities, table content, creating the entries one by one. It's a first, like it's a very lengthy job. Second thing is what? You don't have the access for any standard transaction code in the production system. We do have the system landscape, the development, the quality, the production. The development system is meant for only developing the object. Quality is meant for testing, and the production is for maintaining the business, live business, I can say. The end user is supposed to open this table in change mode and he's going to maintain the entry. Does it really possible? Of course, no. In production server, first thing is what? You do have many restrictions over there. Based on your role, your responsibility, they're going to allow you some accessing the business application. Maybe you're not authorized. So mostly you don't have the access for any standard transaction code. Even though if it is having the access to the standard transaction code, let's see, I don't have the access for the standard transaction code called SE11. Then how to open this table? Let's assume they allow you to access the SE11, the application called data dictionary, but they never give the access for change mode, open the table in change mode. They never give you the access to open the table in change mode. It means you don't have the access for any standard transaction code in production, even if they are allowing to access any transaction in production, but this is restriction. You can open those application only in read mode. That's a part of display. Then until unless I switch or navigate you to the edit mode, how can I maintain the entries in a table? Not possible. This is the second reason. Now I will come to the third point. See, validation is the most important part of programmer life. At every step, even though if you're designing any program, you need to add many code, you need to develop the code in such a way that sometimes you need to have some validation. So validation is the most important part of programmer lives. So validation is not going to be done manually or explicitly. I want to make it as an automation process. It means you need to write the source code. Everything cannot be achieved by using the navigation. At most extent, we need to write the source code. Now, I want to write the source code to validate the data. Suppose user is saving the entry, maybe he's updating the entry, maybe he's deleting the entry. There are many different actions are there. Action and the action time. We do have the two scenarios. At what actions you want to validate your data, like while saving the data, or while deleting the data, while creating the data, or while updating the data. At what scenario you want to update your data. Of course, if you want to do any like update process, you must write the source code for that. Now the question is, in which area is there any feasibility provided by the SAP in SC11 application to write the source code? Of course, no. So these are the three different reasons to work with the table maintenance generator. One, process is very lengthy to maintain the entries in a table by going with the S11, go with the change mode, go with utilities, table content, create entries, so on. User is not okay with this. Second reason is what? You don't have the access for any standard transaction code in production system. The access is very restricted, very minimal based on your roles and the responsibility they are going to provide you the authorization. Even though they are providing the access to any standard application, but never in the change mode. You can only display, you can overview, you can open it in read only. If it is in read only, then it's not possible to maintain the entries in a table. And the third, the most important reason is validation. Of course, the data, it means it's a part of validation. So to validate the data, we need to write the source code. Where exactly to write the source code in S11? We don't have the feasibility. So these are the three different reasons to navigate with the table maintenance generator. And I'm not saying that every time for every custom table, we must create the table maintenance generator. It totally depends upon the business requirement. business user or the business owner, I can say. If they request it, then you must create the table maintenance generator. And once we create the table maintenance generator, so it will be created by using the transaction code called SE11 only. But once after creation, it will be accessed by the transaction code SM30. This is a transaction code to access the table maintenance generator, and then after you can create, edit, update the entries in a table. Now the question is how to create the table maintenance generator. So go with S11. So for the table which you want to create the table maintenance generator. So this is my one of the table. For this table, I want to create the table maintenance because in the production server, I don't have the access for S11. Even though if you do have, I cannot open in edit mode. If it is okay, everything is okay, but if I want to do any validation, then not possible. So you need to create the table maintenance. So go with utilities. So just before the table content, you do have the options called table maintenance generator. Sometimes it will also call it TMG, table maintenance generator. The name itself specifies as we are generating a maintenance screen for the table. The table which you have created, for that table, we are generating the maintenance screen. Maintenance means with one go, we can create, update, or delete the entry from the table. One stop. Then go with the table maintenance generator. Once I click on this, it will navigate you to the a screen called generate the table maintenance dialog. I hope you know about the model pool concept, model pool programming, or we can say the dialog programming. If you don't know, you can refer my other sessions, you will get to know. So here system will create a separate screen, or system will generate a separate screen. So when it's a part of screen, then it's a part of model pool programming, or we can say the dialog programming. So in the background, if you aware about, if you have the knowledge on the model pool programming, so whenever I create the table maintenance generator, system will create the table control in the background. This is one type of screen. It's a part of model pool programming. So here we need to maintain the different options. So one with the authorization group. So authorization is the most important part again. Whenever you develop any object, it can be program, it can be function model, it can be any screen, it can be table, we do have the authorization concept. So once you have, like if you are working on the production system, you don't have the access for all the transaction, or maybe you don't have the access for all the application. Access is very restricted. Based on your responsibility, based on your day-to-day routine, they are going to provide you the authorization. They are going to provide you the authorization from set of application. So that authorization is going to handle by using the authorization group and the authorization object. Now this authorization is group is nothing but they are going to suppose there are five user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and suppose this is the table which I have created, and all five users are working on the production system, but whatever the table which I have created, once it is deployed in the production system, I don't want all the five users should access this table. I want to restrict it to only 2% or maybe 3%. Then we need to provide the authorization to those users, then only they can access. It's a part of assigning the role, we can say. Providing the authorization, it's a job of basis consultant. Now suppose, are we going to provide the authorizations to the user one by one? Like user 1, take this authorization. User 2, take this authorization. User 3. No. Instead of that, what we are going to do, we are going to create one group. That group could be anything in the name of anything. That's the job of basis. And in that group, they are going to insert the users one by one to whom, or the set of user to whom you want to give the authorization. And then finally, they are going to give the access to that group. Instead of providing the authorizations to the user one by one, they are making the group of those users and going to provide the authorizations to the entire group. That is a part of authorization group. So this authorization group you can find in every application. Even though if you are creating the SE38 program also, while creating there also it will ask you the authorization object or the authorization group. So it's a normal, in SAP it's a normal process. Even though if you are accessing any plant related data, any company code related data, you must have the authorization to that. Sometimes you will get the like error at the bottom, like if you are accessing any T code, you will get the error. You are not authorized to run the application or access the transaction. So that's a part of authorization is missing. They have not assigned the role to your username. So it's a Java basis. You need to request them. So it is a special, until unless you do have a requirement from the end user, you have nothing to do with this. So based on their requirement only, you are going to manage all those things. So this group is going to be created by the basis, and that group you will get in this list. You can do the F4, you will get the complete list. So currently, for my requirement, I don't have any restrictions. So it is open for all. So whatever the 5 users are working in the production system, I want to give the authorization for all the people. Then go with ampersand NC, nothing but no authorization group is required, right? Again, this is a part of authorization object. Again, it is going to be created by the basis. We have nothing to do. That will be maintained by the automatically. As I discussed, we are trying to generate a separate screen for your table to maintain the entries. System is going to generate a separate screen for you. If you're aware about the model pool programming, there we are going to generate a screen separately, and to control that screen, we are going to write the logic separately. There are two parts we are going to write. One, at the one end, we are going to design the screen, and another end we are going to write a logic or write a source code to control the screen. So screen will be designed in SE51. If you look at the model pool programming, the screen will be designed at SE51, and to control that screen, the logic will be written in SE38. So these two things should be run in parallel, right? Now here also system is going to generate a screen for you. You have nothing to do. That will be automatically generated by the system. Just you need to propose a screen number. See, in SAP, all the screen will be differentiated by using the screen number. Now, in one program or in one application, you can have more than one screen. In one application, in one program, you can have more than one screen also. And to differentiate between those screens, the differentiator we use as a screen number. Suppose you do have the two mobile phone. How to differentiate those two mobile number? You do have the numbers, or you do have unique IMEI number. This is differentiate between the two devices. Same way, in one application or in one program, you can have the multiple screens, and the screens will be differentiated by using the screen number. And that number could be anything between 1 to 9999. It means 4 digit. It can be 4 digit, starting from 1 to 9999. But except 1000. While creating the screen, while generating the screen, you should not propose the screen number as 1000, because 1000 is a screen number which is reserved by the SAP for the selection screen. Whenever we create the program in SE38, and for that program, we supposed to create the selection screen. And whenever that selection screen is going to be generated by the system automatically, of course, we need to write the syntax to generate the selection screen. So whenever we write the syntax to create the selection screen, of course, between your output and the program, one screen is going to be introduced to filter the data. That's a part of selection screen. So whenever that system create the selection screen, that selection screen number always will be 1000. So that's the reason the screen number 1000 is reserved for SAP. You should not consider. So back to this point, here we are to provide the function group. What is the meaning of function group? As I discussed, while working with the screen, system will create the screen, and for to control the screen, he need to generate this program source code behind that. So screen number you are going to propose with that number it's going to generate the screen. And to control the screen, system will generate the source code for you automatically. To control the screen, system will generate the source code for you. And whatever the source code is being generated, where that source code should be stored, right? If the source code is being generated by the system, where that source code should be stored. So what we need to do is we need to propose the function group name. While working with the function model, we should have the function group. There is a concept called function model under the modularization technique. So function model is a part of modularization technique which perform the action based on given parameter. Means we need to, it contains some piece of code, we need to provide the input so it will return the results. So in general, whenever we create the function model, along with the function model, some other dependent object is going to be generated automatically. Whenever we are trying to create the function model, along with that function model, some object, one program and one include program. two programs will be generated automatically. So we are just creating the function model, but along with that function model, two things are going to be generated automatically. Not only two, sometimes some dependent objects are going to be generated automatically. Now the question is where that dependent object will be stored. So that's the reason we are going to propose a group name. So whatever the dependent objects are being generated by the system automatically, all that dependent object should be locked or stored under a single group, or I can say under single roof. That is a part of function group. Here system, what he is doing, he is generating the screen for you. He is generating two programs for you in the background, one with two or more than that also. Some set of include program he is going to generate for you, and set of some subroutine poll programs also going to generate for you. Sometimes he can generate some transaction, sometimes he can generate some function model for you. Many things are going to be generated in the background. Now the question is where those objects should be stored. So for that, we are going to propose one roof. Under that roof, all the object will be stored. So that is a part of function group. You can ask me what is the name? Is there any naming convention? No, anything you can provide starting with Z or Y. So usually what we do to avoid the confusion, in what name we have created the table, the same name we are going to propose here. Same as a table name. So this is your function group. It can be different name also. It can be same as a table name also. It could be anything. But to avoid the confusion, to recall the name, why do you want to go with that lengthy way? So we provide the same as a table name. Thereafter, you do have the maintenance type. So there are two maintenance type. One with the one step, another with two steps. So usually what we can do is we always create the one step. But if I want to know what is the difference between the one step and the two step, you know, if I go with any existing table, I will show you I have created, and I will also show you how to create for yourself. So if I go with the maintain, so this is your overview screen, we can say. All columns can be seen at the one screen with the multiple rows. Okay. And whenever I click on new entries, it will show you the different screen again for you. See, even during the SE11, whenever I do the utilities, table content, create entries, there also it's going to show you the same, like under one by one. So this is a part of single screen, and it will be created whenever we do the one step. Sorry, it will be created whenever we do the two steps. It is a called it we can call as a single screen. It we can call as a single screen. So here I can say maintenance type. We do have to. So one step and the two step. In the one step, only overview screen is going to be generated. In the one step, only overview screen is going to be generated. Will be generated. Now what is the overview screen? And with the two steps, single screen and overview screen. Screen will be generated. Now what is the single screen and the overview screen? So this I can say the single screen, and similarly it's going to create the overview screen. Now before this screen, you do have this screen, this is a part of overview screen. Now it's up to you. Do you want both the screen or you want only one screen? Do you want both the screen or you want only one screen? So this is a part of single screen. This is a part of overview screen. Means you can enter the data, single in data you can maintain. And in the overview screen, you can maintain all the information at the same time within the same screen. It will not navigate you to the other screen. All the information, like suppose at a time I want to maintain the 5 student information. So if I go with the single screen, with the 2 steps, it will create the 2 screens, single and the overview. Each time, so whenever I click on new entries, each time it will take you to this first screen. Each time it will take you to the screen and you can go into maintain one by one and it will take you back over here. But if you go with only overview screen, with the same screen, you are going to create, update, and delete. All the things are going to be done in a same screen. But here it's going to navigate you to the different screen. It's up to you. Either you want to go with the 1 step or 2 step. So if you select the 1 step, you need to propose either overview screen, either means only one screen will be generated. Among this, only one screen. So of course, we wanted to generate the overview screen. So, but there is a drawback. See, if I generate both the screen, what system will do, when as soon as I click on create new entry option, if it is only overview screen, here itself the row will be get navigated in the editable mode. When I click on new entry, here itself the row will be in editable mode. So within the same screen, you can add the entries, you can delete the entries. But when I say single screen plus overview screen, whenever I click on new entry, system will open the, it will navigate you to the next screen. So where you can change, delete, and create a new entries. So that is the drawback. Suppose if I want to create the student 101, something name called. So we are going to click on save, go with next. You can enter the next 1002, sorry, somewhat the name, save, so on. Once after then, it will navigate over here. But if it is only the overview screen, you are going to remain within the same screen. Here itself, you're going to create it. Here itself, you're going to change it. Here itself, you're going to delete it. So that is the difference between the single screen and the overview. But here I wanted to create only overview screen, right? So now I will show you the both the way, like single screen and the overview screen as well. So I'm selecting the 1 step and system is going to generate a screen for you. Overview screen, if you provide the number for the overview screen, it will generate overview screen. If you propose a number for single screen, it will generate the single screen for you. Now, as I discussed, I want only overview screen, means this one screen. I'm expecting only this here itself. Within the same screen, I want to create, change, and delete. I don't want navigate separately toward this screen. No, I don't want to navigate separately to the another screen. Why you want to increase your efforts? That is, it totally depends upon the user requirement. We are not responsible for this. Means you are not going to take the call. But however, if there is not any special requirement, unless you are going to select the overview only. Now, as I discussed, screen number could be anything between 1 to 9999 except 1000. Now, it's up to you. Based on your wish, you can propose any number. Suppose if you purchase two-wheeler or if you purchase a four-wheeler, sometimes you are having the craze about the fancy number. You can go to the RTO office and you can request for the fancy number. They will allot the fancy number with the extra cost. But you are saying that no, that's fine. You can assign me any random number. Even that also going to do with the system. System is going to do both the way. If you want, the system will propose a number for you. Otherwise, you can propose your own number, right? So if I say this find screen number, if I click on find screen number, so system will propose you the screen number. So if I click on propose screen number, he randomly, like if you go with the RTO office, day to day, randomly he will generate the number for you. But if you want to see like what are the number range is available, so you can click on this display free number range, you will get to know. Between 1 to 9999 is available. And as I told you that 1000, here 1000, 1001, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10 is reserved for the SAP. You can choose any number between 1 to 9999 or any number between 1011 to 9999. So 1000 to 1010 is reserved by the SAP. So you are not allowed to get the number. And plus, if I go with list screen numbers, you'll get the list screen numbers. See, these are the reserved. Can you see? Reserved for selection screen. So you should not consider. So if I go with this first option, propose a screen number for you, system will propose a screen number for you. Starting 1. Now if you are not okay, if you want to go with some other number, you can just propose a number. So I want to go with the screen number 9001. That's it. Just click on create option. Just click on create. And apart from that, you can find one more option, recording routine. Can you see this recording routine? So once after creating the table and once after creating the table maintenance generator, we are going to move the object to the quality. From there, we are going to deploy in a production system. You know, in SAP, only three things are client dependent. When it comes to the part of data, the data should be client dependent. It means the data which we are going to create in development, which will not be visible to quality or production, and vice versa. So in real time, we transport only objects, not the data. But in certain situation, we also need to transport the data which is going to be stored in a table. Usually, we transport the object so that the object should be in synchronize. The object should be in sync between the three server. Sometimes, three server is nothing but system landscape. Sometimes, user will ask the data should also be in sync between the three system. Sometimes you do have the customizing data. I don't want to create for each system separately. Create in development, lock in a tier so that it will be goes to the till production. When same data can be available in quality, same data will be available in production. So whenever I enter a new entries, whenever I create a new entries, and if I click on save option, automatically the transport request number should be generated. I don't want to add some manual efforts, locking the table entries in a TR. So automatically, whenever I create the new entry through the table maintenance generator, whenever I click on save option, automatically the transport request number generated, and automatically the new entry should be logged in a TR. How it going to be do? So we need to select this radio button called standard recording routine. So once we select this standard recording routine, whenever we create the new entries, system generate or propose a new TR for you, which is going to lock the table entries in a TR. Usually we never transport the data, but in certain situation, we need to transport the data as well because data always will be the client specific. So for against which system we are registering the entry, it will be visible or restricted to that system only. But sometimes we wanted to transport the data. We wanted to sync the data between the systems. Then we need to transport the data. In that situation, if it is a TMG, if it is only during the S11 case, you need to be log the table entries by yourself. But when it is a part of TMG, when you select this radio button, system will generate the transport request number automatically whenever you create the new entry and when you click on save option. Right? Now I'm going to click on create option so that system is going to generate the TMG. Now again, it's up to you. Either you are creating this TMG only for practice purpose or a later point of time you want to transport it to the quality from there to production. If yes, then propose the package. Package is going to be created only once throughout the project, or it is depends upon the end user business requirement. So here I don't want to transport it because it's my dummy system, test system. So I don't have any further quality or the production system. If it is not okay, then it's fine. If you can stay in a package also, but I don't have any specific requirement. Then you can click on save option. So the package name for the local object is $TMP. Keep in mind. So click on save option. Keep on pressing the save option until unless you'll get the local object. Click on local object. See at the message at bottom. Request completed without errors. So my table maintenance generator has been created. Now where I can see. So copy this name, open the new session. In that, pass the transaction code called SM30. So in what name you have generated the table maintenance generator? Z student underscore IA0. Now either you want to see the entry which has been stored in this table or you want to create the new one. If I click on display, and in S11, of course, I have created one entry. In S11, whatever the entries you have been stored, that you can see over here. If it is already there, see one entry which I have already created earlier, that entry I can see. There are many fields. You can just scroll down, scroll towards right. You can see all the fields. Okay, and If I want to maintain the entries, go with the maintain option. So here you can click on the new entry option so that this screen is itself becomes editable. See, here if I click, I will show you the difference between the one step and the two steps. So this is my another example, which is a two steps, something like one. This is my two steps. Okay. Whenever I click on new entry, system is navigating to the different screen where you can enter the information one by one. During the one step case, whenever I click on the new entry, see this within the same screen itself, it is going to become the editable mode so that you can easily enter the rest of the data. 1001, something like name, city, the section, then you do have the internal assessment marks. Okay, then the average. Here I need to be pass it by myself. Then username by passing, date I'm passing, and the time I'm passing. So likewise, you can maintain the multiple entries at the same time. So I can maintain the second entry as well. Okay. So I'm calculating the average, the username, date, and time. So you can maintain the multiple entry at the same time. It is only feasible if you do have the overview screen. If you do have the two steps, single plus overview, each time it will navigate you to the separate screen. You can maintain one by one. If you click on save, if we come back to the same screen again. So unnecessary, we are adding the extra efforts. That is what, right? So this is what we have created the table maintenance. Now what user is saying, see, again, I want to add some more points over here. Once after generating the table maintenance generator, and after generating the table maintenance generator, if you are doing any modification to your table, maybe sometimes you can add a new field to the table, sometimes you can delete the field from the table, sometimes you can change the data element, domain, any settings, any setting. Let's assume I can add one more field over here called gender. I can say gender. So field is already available. Now, as soon as if I click on activate, so there will be no any issue, the table will be activated. But this gender field you cannot find in the table maintenance. If I go with the display or maintenance, see, there is an error. It's a dump, we can say. Always keep in mind, after generating the table maintenance, if you do any modification to your table, maybe adding the new field, deleting the field, changing the domain, data element, changing the field from non-key field to key field or key field to non-key field, any changes, any modification, you must regenerate the table maintenance. You must regenerate. Either you can delete the existing table maintenance and recreate it. Otherwise, you can simply regenerate it. There are two ways. Now, how to do? Again, go with utilities, table maintenance generator. Here you can find the delete option. Can you see? Click on delete, and again it will ask you rest of the information. Whatever the information you have provided till now, you need to again provide all the information. See, I'm going to click on delete option now. You will get the pop-up, just simply delete. See, again, all the information are there as it is, and again click on create option. So here we need to go with the one step. Either delete it, create it, otherwise you can simply click on this pencil symbol, change. Here system will ask you why you are going to regenerate. Did any modification you have done? Did you change the maintenance type from one step to two step or two steps to one step? Did you created any logical part? Did you created any maintenance screen separately? Did you added any new field or deleted? Did you change from key field to non-key field? Any. You can select the appropriate option. Otherwise, if you're not getting anything, simply select all the check boxes and click on enter. So what system will do? Automatically delete the existing one. So I do have only overview screen. You don't have any single screen, right? Just select the overview screen and select the normal fields. If you have done any changes to the key field, you must select the key field. You have done any changes to the normal field apart from non-key field, sorry, apart from key field, then appropriate option you need to select it and click on enter. See, maintenance screen 9000 will be deleted and the regenerated. In one step, it's going to do the both the job. You no need to do the separate job. Delete it first and recreate it. No. Once you do the change, it will be deleted automatically. It will regenerate. Now you can find, now you don't get the dump as well as you don't find the, you can find the extra field called gender at the last. See, gender, male and the female. Now you can ask me, I can see the screen only half part. Is it possible to stretch the screen? Because we do have the empty space over here. Is it possible to stretch? Of course, yes. How to do? Go back to this table maintenance screen. We have generated the screen. Actually, we have proposed a number. System has generated the screen for you. So double click on this screen number 9001. It will take you to the SE51. As I told you that it is a part of model pool programming concept. Now go with the layout option over here. Layout option. It is something like your paint. You do have the paint options. Same like the paint. What you are supposed to do in a painting, the same thing you need to do in the model pool programming. So this is a screen. The name is itself a screen painter. See, this much extra space we do have. You have not utilized. I'm just asking the system to stretch it. Right? You do have two things. There is a background area. Whenever we open the paint, first we need to cover the background area. Can you see this background area? First, we are going to search this background area. And then we are going to type it down, whatever the things you needed. In the same way, in the background, you do have one screen. First, you need to stretch that screen. But sometimes manually it will not stretch for you. So what you need to do, go with the flow logic, come back, go to this attribute, or directly you can click on attribute option also. Can you see this maintenance? This is a row wise and this is a column wise, means height and width. So this is somewhat width I can say. So instead of 83, you can make it as anything. I go with the 200 also. I'm just stretching the background. Width, that is a part of width. I can click on layout option. See, again go back to attributes. You can increase it to 220 also. It's going to stretch the width. Sometimes manually is not possible. You need to do it with C. Again, manually is not possible. Again, you can make it something like this. Okay. Now you can select this table maintenance and you can extract. Means you can drag it out. See, now it is adjusted completely. If you want, you can adjust this one too as well. Student ID, name, city, classroom. If you want, you can do like this. Section, this IA1, IA2, then IA3. Sometimes label will not come correctly. Sometimes label will not come correctly. Now there is second thing is what? I don't want this gender field to be lastly. Somewhere around I need, that's fine. If you need somewhere around, then you need to do the modification in your table first, and then you need to regenerate the TMG. That is a process. But if you look at over here, the column headings are sometimes not correct. We are getting as student underscore ID as a field name. But I want the label, student ID or student number something. Here IA1 is there. I want the proper label like internal marks 1, internal marks 2. I want the proper label as average. How we are going to do? How it is going to be possible? So what simply you can do is the label, wherever you are finding the label, double click on that. It will open one window. That window we can call as the attribute window. And here, can you find this text? This text we need to change it. I can say anything, what name you are expecting, you can provide student number. Close this attribute window, you can see this label. You can do it one by one over here also. Otherwise, you can go with element list. You do have two tabs, flow logic, attribute, and the element. So go to element list. This is your element list. Again, under the element list, you do have the multiple tabs. So you need to go with text slash input output template. Okay. And here these are the fields: student ID, name, city, class, section, so and so. Here also you're finding the same information. At bottom also you're having the same information. See, student ID, name, city, section. Now confusion where I need to do anything. See, this is your text field. This is your input output. Now what is the meaning of text and the input output? The label will be called as text field. And in front of that, that information which is printing, the data we're populating, that we can call as an input output field. See here a screen number. In front of that, you do have the value. So the value where the value is populating, that area we can call as, that box we can call as input output field. And the text which is printing, that is a part of label or the text field. So this is a part of text and this is a part of input output. So you have nothing to do with this input output. You need to change it for the text field. So student number is fine. So I want to change it for the name also, something like student name, city, class, section, and this I want to make it as internal marks 1. Similarly, I want to do it for the internal marks 2, internal marks 3. Okay, 3. Then I want to make it as an average. Then username is fine, current date is fine, time is fine. See again gender. This is a field name. Sometimes you will not get the proper label. That in that situation you need to do in this way. And we'll go with the gender. That's it. Just save and activate. Go back. So always make it active so that changes should be replicate. So make it as activate. Now go to SM30 and rerun. We'll go with SM30 and rerun. See, it has covered the complete screen. It has covered the complete screen. So if you want, you can create the new entry. Now this time 1000, sorry, 103. What is the length of student ID? It's a 3 character only. So you can provide up to 3 character. City, class 10, section A, internal assessment marks, and the average. So I'm going to provide the average is something like 23. Username, current date, current time, and I'm going to select either male or female. So I'm going to select male and click on save option. See, I have entered this Bangalore, the city text in the combination of upper and the lower case. So as soon as if I click on save option, see this text is converting into uppercase. Even this mail is going to be converted into upper text. So this is a part of domain property as we already discussed. Just cross check either you have maintained the domain properties for this city or not. See, you need to select this lowercase option, right? Similarly, this domain, can you see this drop down, the value in the drop down? Again, this is coming because of your domain properties only. So go back to the section, sorry, gender. Here we need to go with the change option, select the lowercase, under value range, see, M, I want to do it as a male and I want to do it as a female. Likewise, save and activate. Go back and activate. Now I can rerun this one, SM30, go with maintain. Can you see? Can you see like this? Now you can ask me the section which you're finding. I want so also don't want to do for the section like section A, section B. I want also in a drop down. How to do? You can go to the section box, the section one, and again here also you can create the value range. Like I can say A, that's a part of section A, B, C, and D. Suppose I do have 4 sections, B, C, and D. Save and activate. It is activated. Now go back and rerun the transaction. So whenever you do any changes, rerun the transaction. Otherwise, changes will not be impacted. So go with the new entries. I'm creating the next 1004, sorry, 104. I can say Ayush, city. I can say Delhi. Class, section, C. When I'm getting the F4 option now. If I do F4, these are the things. A, internal marks, average, username, date, time, and the gender. Now you can ask me the way gender we are getting in a drop down, can we do it for the section? Yes, you can do it. Now before that, I'm going to click on save option. See, now this time Delhi has not been turned into the uppercase. Either you can maintain the settings in a domain properties, otherwise you can go to this TMG, you can go to the screen number, you can go with element list. Can you see here itself we do have that option, uppercase. Can you see? Uppercase, lowercase. We have selected the lowercase for the gender. Can you see this? Gender. So if you can select the option from here also. Otherwise, you can go to S11 under each domain and the data element also. You can maintain this setting. But now this time for the section, I want the information in drop down. And to get the information in a drop down, so here you need to select as a section. Can you see? No drop down. So you can select it as either list box. Only you will get the description. Like A, section A. The section A, section B, these are the part of description. Now you let me know, either you want only description or along with the key plus description you needed. It's up to you. You can select the respective box. Now you can rerun this one. Now see, you are getting the drop down. So this is how we can do the changes. So this is a part of your table. So there are many things you can do it. Now, there are three different reasons to go with the table maintenance. One, you don't have the access for S11 in the production system. Yes, if you do have, then you don't have the option for the change. But usually, whatever the way we are following to maintain the entries in a table, it's a very lengthy path. So user has asked me to go with the TMG. But again, the main purpose, the advantage, the usage of TMG is validation. So validation is the most important part of programmer life. So whenever we maintain the entries in a table, we need to validate the data. So there are two things, one with the action and the action time. Means when do you want to validate your data? During the save, during the delete, or during the creation. There are many ways, not only three. There are total 39 action and action time provided by the SAP. And these action plus action times are provided in the format of events. Events. Like when do you want to validate your data? Like I said, during save. So again, there are further thing is action time. Action is what? Your save. Save is your action. But there is a concept called action time as well. Means when do you want to validate your data? Like you said, like during save. But again, my question is either before saving the data you want to validate or after saving the data you want to validate. Similarly, if I said delete, like again, my question is before delete or after delete? This is a part of action and the action time. Action is your save, delete, create, furthermore, and the action time is like before or after. Likewise, there are total 39 action and the action time provided by the SAP. Total. I'm not saying separately. And those action plus action times are nothing but the events in TMG. So here I want to I do have a special requirement, and that is a part of validation. It means what? So first thing like average, the username, the date, and the time. I don't want to enter this information explicitly or manually. Average should be calculated automatically, and the username, date, and the time should also be filled automatically. I don't want to do anything. Let's system do it automatically. So first I wanted to do is I want to make this field non-editable, grayed out. How you are going to do this field grayed out? I don't want user to be edit this field. This information should be filled by the system automatically. First, you need to make this field grayed out. How to make this field grayed out? Again, come back to this TMG, double click on the screen number, go with element list, under the text slash input output, or you can go with the special attribute, or you can go with the display attribute. Here you do have the option for display only. This is output. This is output only. Can you see the option output only? Here for the average, you need to select this checkbox so that that column will be becomes non-editable. Plus created on, created by, and the time. I want to make this 4 field non-editable. Select display only, then activate. Okay. Otherwise, there is a one more way. Go to the layout. So which column you want to make editable or non-editable? Double click on that row, not on the text. I'm talking about the row. This is how we can extend the. This is somewhat more. Now it is good. Okay. Average daytime. So double click on this row. Under, you'll get this attribute window. Under program option, you need to select display only. Either you can select from here, otherwise you can select from the element list. Everything is same. Now click on activate. Now you can rerun this one. See, the average, username, current date, and the time becomes non-editable. Now, whenever I'm trying to create the new entry, you cannot fill this for information: average, username, date, and the time. So my requirement is what? Whenever I create the new entry, in that situation, that average should be calculated automatically. The username, date, and the time should be automatically filled. Then it's a part of validation. So that you can maintain during only the TMG. So SAP has provided total 39 events. These are comes with action plus action time. So how to do? Just go with the table maintenance generator, go with environment, modification, and the events. Go to table maintenance generator screen, environment, modification, and the events. Click on event. Okay, so you will get this screen. Click on new entry option. So here what you need to do, whatever the additional logic you want to write for the validation, so that external logic will be written in the format of external subroutine. You know, we do have two types of subroutine, internal and the external. External means perform will be somewhere else and its respective form and form is somewhere else. That's a part of external subroutine. Now, whatever the logic we wanted to write, that logic should be written in the format of external subroutine. Now, when that external subroutine should be triggered, what is your action and the action time? That we need to be defined in the first column. So here it is now non-editable. You need to click on new entry option so that it will becomes editable. Okay. So first column is for the event, nothing but action and the action time. Now you can simply do F4, you will get the complete list of action plus action time. So there are total 39 events provided by the SAP. So if I select the event 01, when this event 01 will be triggered, you can read the description. It will trigger before saving the data in the database. I can, as I told you that actions are save. Let's assume save. Action times is nothing but before save or after save. That is what 01 will be trigger during the save only, and 02 also trigger during the save only. But only the difference is that 01 will be trigger before saving the data, 02 will be trigger after saving the data. Now it's up to you. Before save you want to trigger or after save you want to trigger. Similarly, 3 is for before deleting, 4 is for after deleting, and 5 is for only during creation of new entry. See, you can select save option during the updation also. Like suppose already the data is exist in the database. I want to update some information. Then you can go with the save. But I want to validate the data purposefully only during creation of the new data. In that situation, which event you are going to select? Event number 5. Likewise, we do have the different action and the action times. Nothing but the events. So I want to trigger my logic during the event 5, only during the creation of the new entry. So as I told you that it's going to create the external subroutine, like whenever we create a subroutine, we are going to propose the subroutine name and we are going to create the respective form and form. Same way, you need to propose the subroutine name. It can be anything, but proper naming. So I can say I want to create the subroutine in the name of auto underscore fill underscore data. It is not at all any standard name. Whenever we create the subroutine, we are going to propose the subroutine name. In the same name, we need to create the form and form. Likewise, it can be any name. You can ask me where should I write the code for this. Now currently under editor, are you finding any icon? No, right? Just click enter, you can find one icon. See? So this icon will take you to the editor screen. You need to write the source code, right? It will take you to the editor. So now you are going to implement the subroutine called autofill data. Now system is asking where do you want to implement? As I told you that whenever we create the TMG, system will create many programs, include programs or different things in the background. See, these are the include program which has been created by the system. Now system will not allow you to write your source code in any of the existing include. No, you need to create your own include program. That's a part of new include. I need to select and click on enter. So you are creating the new include for yourself. So you'll get the message, just click on enter. And here you can implement like form, your the subroutine name which you have proposed just before and the end form. Just save, pretty printer and activate. So only this include has been activated. Now I'm not sure either at what action or the action time I'm expecting my breakpoint should trigger. I'm not sure. I want to test it before implement. So for that you can place the breakpoint. You can simply say that break space your username. So my username is, you can get it from here. It is something like 92 user 15. So you can propose 92 user 15. Click on activate. Okay, just go back. Just go back. Actually, you have maintained some information in this screen as well. So click on save option and come back. So better what you can do is, as I told you that whatever the object is being created for your TMG, every object will be created under this function group. So better you can do, go to SE80, go to SE80, under test repository, select the function group and provide your function group name. So this is my function group. This is my function group. See, it has created two function model for you. System has created the two function model for you automatically. I have done nothing. You have created, system has created many, but you also created one of them, autofill data. Can you see? Similarly, system has generated many PBO, PAI for you, and then he has generated the screen for you called 9001, and he has generated the many include programs for you. So everything will be created under one roof. That is a part of function group. Just right click on this function group and click on activate it, so that all the objects should be activated. This is the purpose. Okay, enter. Done. Now what we'll do, we will rerun the SM30. Now let's see, during the creation of new entry, does that breakpoint is triggering or not. Click on new entry option, 1005, section, sorry, class, the section. I'm not entering, like it is, its system will not allow you to enter the average username, date and the time because it is grayed out. And I'm selecting the gender. Either you are going to click on enter or you're going to click on say option. That breakpoint will trigger. See that bottom? Your breakpoint has been triggered, means you have applied, you have written the logic at the correct point. So that is what my like requirement, right? Whenever I click on create the new entry, then my breakpoint should be triggered. Of course, I am creating the new entry. Either you can click on enter or save, the breakpoint will be triggered. Now what you need to do is, whatever the information you are being filled in this screen fields, So before I want to calculate the average, I want to get to know the internal marks 1, 2, 3, 4. Then only I can able to create the average. Now my question is, where I can find my data? In which variable I'm getting the data during the runtime? So that you can check under the variables. Can you see local and global variables? So one of them is this one. Same as your table name, in which name you have created the table or the TMG. In the same name, the system will create one variable for you in the background. In this variable, you can find the entries which you have entered in a screen. See, section IA1, 2, 3. Accordingly, you need to calculate the average. Then create it by, on, time. It means you need to write the logic like this. Go with change option, utilities, table maintenance generator, go with environment, modification, event, select editor option. Now here you can write the logic like your table name is this one. Now I want to calculate the average. ZAVG is equals to IA1 plus IA2 plus IA3 divided by 3. So I want to do the addition of internal assessment 1, 2 and 3 divided by 3. Then it's going to transfer the average to this column. Similarly, I want to transfer the current username, that is a part of created by. So to fill the current username, SAP has provided the system. You no need to do the hard coding of 92 user 15. No, you can just use the system variable. So SAP has provided some set of system variables, nothing but the variable provided by the standard SAP software. These variable filled with some default values. And whenever we call that variable, it will return the value which is stored in the variable. So SciUname is a system variable which will return you the current username who has logged in into the system. Similarly, we do have created on, nothing but the date. And to return the current date, SAP has provided the system variable called SciDatum. And similarly, we do have SciUzeit, which is going to return you the current time. So this is a part of time. That's it. Okay, you can just simply execute this step and come out of this, and you can rerun this one. Rerun this one. Maintain new entries 1006. City, I can take this one. Section, I will go with internal marks and select the gender. And simply click on enter. It will take you to the breakpoint which you have applied. And here you can see during the runtime, I will get the information to this variable. I'm going to do the addition of these three, and I'm going to do the divided of these three. So total average is 24. Okay. IA1 plus IA2 plus IA3 divided by 3. So that is my average. And this is my current user, which is going to be filled by created by, the created on, the date, and the created time. That's it. If I click on F8, see it's saying that the entry exists with the same name. So that is wrong. I will go with 6. See, 24, the username, date, and time. Everything has been automatically filled. Now what I can do, I will remove the breakpoint and I will test it. Now at the same time, I will create the two entries. Go with the new entries. 1007 city, section A. Similarly, I'm creating another entity. See, at the same time, I'm going to click on enter or save. Then average is going to be calculated automatically. Username, date, and the time is going to be filled automatically. See, and save. Now, all the information you can see in the same screen. Otherwise, you can see in the table. You can go to E11, table content. I'm sorry, table content, and execute. That's it. So thank you for the day. Thank you for the session.